Second, fellas. All right, all right. So we're recording, we're live, we're hot. So, guys, every Monday we have these calls for Legacy Live. They're on the group chat. And, please, as you bring your agents on, let them know about these calls because, like I said, we always bring in someone that's a top producer, someone that's killing it in the business to come and speak on these calls for us as guests. They're taking the time out of their busy schedule to come on here and just give you words of wisdom, some training techniques, all that good stuff. But before we get started, let me just introduce myself. My name is David Fleming. I've been a part of this amazing company for about 2 years. Wow. It's been 2 years, Terry. And, when I got started with this, my buddy Nick Greco and Mike Guerra are the ones who, introduced this company to me. I was in a previous company with them for about 10 years. And I had so much fun in that company. I learned a lot. I grew as a person, as a leader. The development was crazy. But through COVID, that company just could not make it. And so I was in a point in my life where I was like lost. I was like looking for something. I was doing Lyft, I was doing DoorDash to provide for my family. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but I just knew that I was put on here to do something better and bigger with my life. And so, I trusted my friends that, because I was in that business with them. And I said, all right, let's do this. Let me show me how this company works. Show me how this concept works. I got licensed, me, if you guys know me, Big Dave, I'm not a study guy, but I got it done. And I'm telling you right now, I have not stopped growing. I have not stopped learning. The income that I've made so far this year, I haven't made anywhere else. The opportunities that this company has given to me, my family, is just amazing. And so I say that to say this is a blessing to me and my family. The people that are on board, we're leaders, and we want to show you guys the way. We want to show you guys how we made it done. That's why we have these calls, and we do it by following the system that the company has. And part of that is just playing team. And the reason, the reason we wanted to have Terry here is because he was actually one of the first speakers that we had on our first Legacy Live calls. And when he spoke, I mean, everybody, the people that were on the group, people that see him on stage when we go to the events, like Terry, I'm just telling you, you are one of the most top-notch guys that we always want on our calls. Every time we're like, who should we have on this week? Let's see if Terry's available. Terry is someone that I personally look up to very much. He's very inspirational. The first time I met him was actually at our first event that we went when we first got started. And when I heard him speak, I was like, I want to be a part of this because of leaders like him. A little bit of his background, guys. Terry and his wife, Tia, they're out of North Carolina right now. But when Terry first started, he actually was in the corporate world. And I'll let him share his story. But he literally saw this through the opportunity through an ad. He's been with the company for about 8 years. Was in corporate, but corporate wasn't really faithful to him. And I'll have him share that story. But in the last 8 years, Terry has grown not only as a leader in the company, because trust me, when he gets on stage, people pay attention. All right. It's like going to church when Terry speaks, but he has hit the level of EVP, which stands for Executive Vice President. In order to hit that level, you got to have 150,000 in premium coming in, not just by you, but like a team. So he's out there selling because he's a top producer. He's actually in our top 5 in the whole company. Him and his wife are top 5 production wise, but he is out there building the business. And we wanted to have him on the call because this guy is just one of the elites of the elites when it comes to building the business and personally producing. And one topic that our group has wanted you to cover, Terry, for the longest time, because you're just so good at it, and I'll let you take over after this, is we want you to just please talk to us about what it takes to build the business part-time, bringing people on, agents, but also at the same time, how you still are such a big producer doing both. Appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna let you take over. And if you could just, talk to we got a lot of new agents. I got a lot of new agents on here, man. So I know you're gonna bring the heat, man.
Man, thank you so much, David, and the whole Legacy Life Group leadership team, man. I love you, and I respect the heck out of what you guys are doing. It's funny um, how God has his way of making things, flipping things. So when we were in World Ventures, I used to sit in the nosebleed sections right? We used to stand in line, get in line at 3 a.m. in the morning. The doors didn't open to 8. But you guys had preferred seating because y'all was killing it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all jokers was killing that Rat Pack. I will never forget the Rat Pack. And so I was inspired by what you guys were doing there because it was already special. And then when I saw y'all walk through the door here, I was like, oh, shucks now. These jokers are about to tear the roof off this mother. Because if they was that fired up and had that big of a group in a company where the margins was paper thin, you had to have, like, if you was making 6 figures, you probably had at least 15,000 people in your downline, right? With those conditions, y'all were killing it. I knew in financial services, y'all were going to straight annihilate it. And that's what you guys did. So if you're on the call tonight, and if you're questioning the leadership of David, if you're questioning the leadership of Dan Hoyt, of Rachel, if you're questioning the leadership of Mike Guerra and Nick, man, bruh, sis, like, okay, let me give a disclaimer. These are my views and my views only. You take it for whatever you paid for it, and you ain't paying nothing for it. So if it don't mean you no good, just let it go in one ear out the other. But sis, bro, if you are questioning the leadership of this team, stop it right now, or I will bury you alive in a box. These guys were consistent, even when they weren't getting paid in the other company. They still showed up to events. They were still fired up. Their downline was getting paid and they wasn't getting paid, but they still was showing up. Those are people of high character and high moral authority. And guess what? It wasn't luck. They did it again. Lightning don't strike hardly twice in the same place, y'all. Listen, you are under great leadership. Take what they say. You may not understand it all, but can you have childlike faith? Okay, I was reading an article the other day, and it said illiteracy of the 21st century is no longer those who cannot read or cannot write. It is going to be those who cannot unlearn and relearn. You see, some of us, we got here ever how we got here. And some of the things that got us here were not good. So we got to unlearn some habits, unlearn some mindsets in order to get the growth mindset of these guys, to be able to catch the vision and execute fast. So don't be illiterate in the 21st century. Avail yourself to unlearn what you need to unlearn and relearn what you need to learn to get what you came for. So David, you guys, you know I love you, and I'm excited to be here. So the first thing I will say right here, I don't care if you're building this business full-time or you're building it part-time. First of all, what is a full-time person? A full-time person, in my opinion, is someone who runs at least 30 appointments a week if they're only selling, right? You got to be doing at least 30 appointments a week. That'll get you about 40 hours worth of work with dial time and booking appointments and running. Or if you're doing 20-20, 20 appointments a week and 20 interviews a week, that's full-time, right? And part-time is anything less than those two. Can we agree on that? And I don't care if you're building this part-time or you're building this business full-time. There's a book called Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy, and it says that it is impossible to hit a target that you do not know exists. When you saw this opportunity, what did you see that it would do for you? Write that down. When you first saw this opportunity, don't cower down on me right now. Don't think about, okay, well, I know it's a little harder than what I thought, so I'm going to dummy down my expectation. No. Go back to childlike. You know how it was when we was playing in recess in the sandbox? We wanted to be a fireman. We wanted to be a lawyer and we wanted to be a teacher all in the same day. When you saw this, what did you see that it could do for your family or for you? Go back to that and write it down. You see, I'm a firm believer that God does not bless you with an opportunity to punish you. He blesses you with an opportunity to propel you. Ladies and gentlemen, get what you came for. If that's $500 a month, get what you came for. If you're like me and you needed to make a six-figure income, I forgot to tell my story a little bit, but if y'all don't know, so me and my wife, Tia, we live here in Kernersville, North Carolina. My background was in banking. I worked in the credit union industry for 16 years. Found out very early on that a job was not designed to get me rich, right? And I was living paycheck to paycheck. And it's crazy. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. You don't think they're paycheck to paycheck. But we started side hustling. We started doing network marketing. We do it janitorial business. We did a lot of things trying to get free. But it wasn't until I found insurance. So what happened was all those other side hustles got my wife free, but I was still working my job. I got named CEO of a credit union down in Atlanta back in 2015. Me, Tia, we had 3 kids. She was 7 months pregnant with number 4. We moved down to Atlanta to take this dream job. And long story short, they rescinded the job offer after I moved down there. And I got on Craigslist and I saw an ad about too many leads, not enough agents. And I talked with Jason Mathis and he introduced me to the Alliance. And hey, David, do you mind texting Tia the link?
I
Because
got
she
you.
wanted to listen in. Her phone number is 336
Uh-huh.
416 8327. That's the boss lady. No, 8328. Excuse me.
8328. I got you, boss.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
So I responded to a Craigslist ad that said too many leads, not enough agents. I spoke to Jason Mathis, who was down in Miami, Florida. He explained to me the Alliance, and I was like, what do I have to lose? I'm gonna give it a shot. So let me ask you this here. If not this, what? This opportunity, it don't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter your educational background. If you got work ethic, we got too many success stories of people winning not to get what you came for. You are not that unique that you can't find somebody in the Alliance that has a story similar to yours that's not winning at a high level. So number 1, get what you came for. Put a target on what you want your income to be. And then backdate that into the reverse engineer that into the activity that's required to get what you want. Okay. So number 1, identify your target. I don't care if you're doing this business part-time or full-time. Number 2, take extreme ownership in your business. Listen, a lot of times we want to blame somebody for our failures, but take all the recognition for our accolades. If it's to be, it's up to me. You have leaders that are, as a leader, they're doing their job. Number 1, they're giving you an opportunity to meet a need or a want in your life. And they're giving you an example of what it takes to make it happen. You guys realize that y'all have built a junior board member organization, 250,000 plus consistently in premium a month, and that joint has been organic. Like, bruh, I am fired up for y'all. Like, I'm like, well, darn. I had Nick Greco on my call. Tell him, Nick, what y'all doing so that we can copy. All right? So get what you came for. Don't blame nobody for your success or failure. We do one thing here. We sell, we recruit, and we build. Okay? We don't just do one thing. We sell. I don't care if you're part-time or full. See, my job, if you're doing this part-time, and even if you're doing it full-time, think about this. What attracted you to this opportunity? Write it down. What attracted you to it? I guarantee you there are other people that's going to be attracted for the same reason that you were. How dare you not share what you're doing? So when I first got started, my wife was like, well, Terry, what are you going to tell all them people you enrolled in World Ventures when you told them that was the best deal in town? I said, well, Terry, all I know is this right here. My first 30 days following this simple system, I made over $8,000 in my bank account. It took me 5 years to make $100,000 cumulative there. If I keep doing what I'm doing right now, I will make six figures in my first 12 months. So I'm like, 5 years, 12 months. Bye, y'all. Hey, y'all, I'm over here now. Did everybody come? No. But my job is not to get them to come. My job is just show them an opportunity and give them an example worth duplicating. Get what you came for. That's going to give you 3 C's: credibility, confidence, and cash flow. Ha! We ain't got no products to buy. None of that. We got a inherit auto ship. You remember we used to get charged back, them people get that membership and cancel that jank. We got a freaking embedded auto ship where every month the people paying this like a bill, because it is a bill to sell them something that they need. Get what you came for. If you only sell, you are shortcutting the opportunity. If you only recruit, you are shortcutting the opportunity. That's why you sell, you recruit, and you build. Okay, now, schedule is everything. How do you do both? How do you do it all? And keep your, oh, y'all know I've been married for 22 years to my high school sweetheart. That's right. We have 4 children. When we started this business, they were young. Now I got 2 in the 11th grade, 1 sophomore, and 1 in the 3rd grade. And we've been winning consistently ever since then. We haven't let our kids be an excuse for us not producing or not recruiting. How do we do it? We had a start doing list and a stop doing list. There was a lot of stuff that we were doing in our life that we had to stop doing, such as I used to love to fry fish and have people over to the house, cook out on the grill and be the entertainment for people. We stopped all that stuff. If it wasn't building our faith, if it wasn't building our family, and if it wasn't building my business, it got off my plate. For 3 years, I went into isolation. I freaking immersed myself in the culture of not only the alliance, but in financial services. I became a student of the game. I started to study like IULs, why IUL is better than a 401k. You know what I'm saying? I started getting passionate about the racial wealth gap in America and how I now have something that I can give minorities that, you know what, can help them build a true asset. Listen, y'all, don't get mad at me. I'm telling you my reasons. You have your reasons, I got my reasons. Let's not be judging each other for their reasons. You get what you came for, I'm gonna get what I came for, baby. Schedule. We schedule our dial time. So most people do not give themselves enough dial time in order to make the necessary appointments. You and I should be dialing 35 to 40 dials per hour, and we should be booking 4 to 5 appointments per hour. With that being said, if I'm doing 45 and I need to book 10 a week, that says I need 2 hours of dial time. That's given perfect conditions. So instead of booking 2 hours in my schedule, I will book 6 hours of dial time to give myself ample time to make sure that I put enough work on the phones that when I went out and ran business, I won't run in onesies and twosies. Y'all know what a onesie and twosies is? If you got 1 or 2 appointments, you go after work, one is a no-show, you might sit with one and they don't sell, you riding back to the house like, dang, this ain't even worth it. So if you're doing this part-time, quit running onesies and twosies during the middle of the week. Get you a full day on Saturday and after church on Sunday and go out and slay giants. Because I believe you shouldn't leave the house without 5 appointments on the book. If you got 5 on the book, you're going to sit with 3, you're going to close 1 or 2. You're going to come back home feeling like a champion. Now, then, so you schedule your dial time, you schedule your run time, and you schedule your recruiting time. So if you're part-time, you can be recruiting throughout the week after 5. And then you're doing your sales dials on Thursday and Friday to run business Saturday and Sunday. And guess what, y'all? Your building part. Building is when you teach other people how to sell and recruit, especially if you're full-time. A lot of times, when you're full-time, you have to protect your dial time. You can't allow your mama and them, just because you ain't working a job, put stuff on your plate. Okay, working from home was not good for TE. I got a hot wife, y'all. And when the kids left the house and if me and her there by ourselves, I had other things on my mind other than dialing. I'm just keeping it 100. But what you got to do is you even got to schedule your playtime. Date nights. See, a lot of people think you got to either have a banging business and your personal life struggle, like your kids and your relationship with your kids and your wife. No, baby, just schedule it. Schedule the things that's important to you. Schedule it. But protect your dial time, protect your recruiting time, protect your build time. When you're full-time, a lot of your building is going to happen after 9 p.m. Because if you're running business all day and you're recruiting all day, you can't be Mr. Trainer Guy. You know what I mean by trainer guy? When you teaching people? No, the way that you build and you teach people is you let them watch you do your thing. So when I'm dialing leads, I'm doing it on Zoom so my whole team can listen to me book leads. I'm going to take every excuse off the table for them. When I'm recruiting, I got them watching me recruit. And when I'm building, that's right, on Sunday, yesterday at 6 p.m., I did a over-the-shoulder call with an agent that's struggling in the home, teaching her, working on her in-home presentation. But I had 30 other people watching me while I'm working with this one person. That's what you call making money while you're making money while you're making money. One thing I'm not going to do is start a freaking lecture series where I'm just training one person, teaching them how to do something that they ain't going to even try to do. I'm not going to slow down building my business to teach you, but I'm going to invite you to watch me. And that's going to be your best training. You want to learn how to sell? Get in the car with me. I ain't going to sit on the phone with one person for 4 hours going over a freaking in-home presentation. No, you're going to see me put fear in the back seat and go out and print freaking money. You're going to hear me make dials and get told no. You're going to learn how to handle objections. Y'all tracking what I'm putting down? I hope I ain't scaring you. David, am I scaring anybody in your household? I get pretty fired up.
No, even my fiance was like, who is that? I'm like, that's Mr. Terry Edwards.
Let me tell you something. Most people are going to get started with this business part-time because they already got a full-time job. And to me, that's the perfect scenario. But we have to focus on people. The problem with being full-time is now you ain't got no, see, when you're part-time, you got a job, you only got a little bit of time to work this business. So most people get a lot more done. The problem is when people go full-time, now they got they got what they call freedom, which is really just flexibility. And they put all this other junk on their schedule instead of the income producing activities. So now when they was working a job, they used to have the baby at the babysitter at the daycare at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30. Now they ain't got no job. I get the baby there around about 9. No, work this thing like a freaking job. Don't change your mentality on that. Get what you came for. Take complete ownership. Schedule what you want and protect that schedule. And trust the coaching, y'all. Get coaching. don't just go through the numbers. Yes, you can go through the numbers, but that's a very expensive way to do this business. When you're dialing and you talk to 3 people and you don't book an appointment, you best stop dialing and call somebody and say, hey, look at here, this is what's going on the phone. I talked to 3 people. The first one said this, the second one said this, the third one said this. What could I say it different? Get you some coaching. I talked to a girl today. She was like, I'm getting so frustrated. See, I don't let people keep me in the frustration and the emotion. I'm like, all right, tell me the numbers. How many dials you do? She said, I did 52 dials. I was like, okay, that's about an hour and 25 minutes worth of dial. Okay. How many contacts? 11 contacts. Oh, wow. That's good. Emotional intelligence is something that I'm hammering my team on. Y'all write these numbers down. Of your dials, you should connect with 10% of your dials. Of the people that you connect with, you should book 50%. Of the people you book, you should sit with 60%. Of the people that you sit with, you should close 50%. So your contact ratio should be 10%. Your book ratio should be 50%. Your sit ratio should be 60%. And your close ratio should be 50%. If you're not hitting those targets, you need coaching. So she said, I made 11 contacts and I booked 1 appointment. I was like, well, golly. So you mean to tell me? I said, tell me, what should you do if you talk to 3 people and you don't book an appointment? I should stop down and get coaching. Did you do that? Why not? I didn't want to be a bother. Well, listen, honey, you being a bother because you're on this team and people are having major success and you is still in the starting blocks where you started at a year ago. That's bothering me. See, guys, growth is natural until dysfunction is introduced. Think about it. If you see a kid that's 6 years old, still breastfeeding, something ain't right. There's some dysfunction somewhere. Growth is natural till dysfunction is introduced. So if you're not growing and your team is not growing and your premium is not growing, your job is to identify the dysfunction. So part of identifying the dysfunction is knowing what your target should be. And if you ain't hitting it, get with somebody that can help you identify what your targets are. I mean, what your dysfunction is. Part-time people are a great way to start building this business because on the Dream Team, we got part-time people making $2,000 to $4,000 a month, going out seeing clients 1 day a week. Those stories may be insignificant into the total scheme of, the Nick Grecos of the world or even the Terry Edwardses of the world. I'm right under 450,000 in income this year, and it's August 21st. That's a very big story. But you mean to tell me, hey, listen, I got people that's been with me for 6 months, making $2,000 to $4,000 on the side, going out just doing this thing on the weekend, and now they're turning in their resignation notice. And when I get people from 2,000 to 4,000, if they continue to be humble and continue to be coachable, my average part-time person is making 20,000 a month. See, if I can get you in the habit of doing what is right when you're part-time, when you go full-time, is just ability of scaling up your GMR, which is going to scale up your appointments, which is going to scale up your recruiting, which is going to scale up your results. It's very, very that simple. Okay. Last thing, Deion Sanders is one of my favorite guys. I know y'all up in Colorado fired up. That prime time is in Boulder, Colorado, baby. Season tickets selling out. That's the Prime effect. Now, you might not like Prime, but I like Prime. Because when Prime shows up, situations start changing. Deion Sanders got a call from the NFL about one of his former players at Jackson State. And they was talking about how athletic this kid was and they were going to have a supplemental draft for the NFL, and they wanted to bring this guy in. The supplemental draft is sort of like a mulligan in golf. It's like, yeah, we done had the draft, but who are those diamonds in the roughs that we may have overlooked? So they're going to do a supplemental draft, and I think this year it was like 2 players that was in the supplemental draft, and one of them was Deion Sanders' former players. And during the conversation with the NFL scout, Deion said a few things that can relate to our business. In that conversation, he said there are certain things about my player that he needs to work on as a young man to develop himself into being a professional. A lot of guys think that when you go pro, but you don't get to the pros saying, I'm a pro. You become a pro before you get to the pros. So mindset number 1 is you have to think of yourself as a junior board member, even if your tag says business promoter. Get around successful people and copy what they do. You won't become a junior board member if you don't think and act like one, even when you are IBA. So get around these guys and copy what they do. Sanders goes on to talk about this, but outside of this guy personal character, he has some off the field issues. But as far as his athleticism and talent, he's going to blow you guys away by what he can do on the field. Mindset number 2 is talent alone won't work. You must be prepared. You must be disciplined to your schedule, and you got to put in the work. All these things like discipline and being prepared and putting in the work, those are all skills. They are not God-given talents. And thank God they are skills, because you can learn and develop them by getting around the leadership on this team. There are unlimited spots at the top. Other thing he says is, despite his athletic ability, I tell my guys, your life has to match up to the smart, tough, fast, and disciplined. And it has to match up with who you're trying to be. Your life must match up to who you say you are. We call that moral authority. Don't say this is a great opportunity if you ain't taking advantage of it. Don't say that you can print money and you're not getting what you came for, because people that you're talking to, they're going to sniff you out. That's what get what you came for. The last thing is this right here. He later said in the interview that money is going to exemplify the weaknesses and the shortcomings that this guy had. Money does not cover things up. It don't shield us from those things. Money makes us more of who we are. I don't care. Work on yourself. So many people be like, well, this is just the way I am. No, you can change that through personal growth and development. Money is going to magnify who you are. You see, I bet you guys try to get some people to do this call and they won't do it. They ain't got time. They're too successful. They only want to deal with people that they make a financial interest off of. Listen, I am never too humble. Never too arrogant to forget where I came from and pay it forward. Now, I don't invest my time in every ground, but Legacy Financial, what's y'all group name? Legacy Life. Legacy Life is fertile ground. This is fertile ground, y'all, that has been prepared, and the soil has been cultivated by the leadership of this group. Put your seed in the ground and let your seed germinate, because I'm a firm believer that some plant and some water, but it's God that giveth the increase. I love you, Legacy Life. I hope that I have added some value to your life on tonight, and that something I said will help push you to your next level, whether you're doing this on a part-time basis or a full-time basis. We only sell, recruit, and we build. Love you guys. I do have time for question and answer or whatever you guys would like for me to do.
That was awesome, Terry. I appreciate it, man. And we love your guys' group too, man. Every time we see you guys at the events, man, the dream team, you guys, I feel like because we experienced that journey in World Ventures together, we have the same culture within our group. So much love to you guys as well. We do have a couple questions on the Q&A. Let's go with the first one. You kind of covered it a little bit, but just can you give tips on recruiting and how you find people?
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, yes. Okay, cool. There are several ways you can recruit. I like to say ABC. Some people like always be closing. No, you need to always be recruiting. All right. So where do you find people? The best place to find people is in your cell phone. That's why my aunt say that thing. She don't say cell phone, your cell phone. Listen, y'all, you got $1 million in your cell phone. You got $1 million business in your cell phone. There's a book called Speed of Trust. And it talks about when there's high trust, you can get more done quicker, faster, and cheaper. That's why Legacy Life is so freaking successful. Those guys that came from World Ventures, they trusted each other. Even when they had been wrong, they was like, listen, boys, listen, we can't piddle, we can't wallow in yesterday. Look, I found something new. We got carriers. This is not the same thing. Come on. And they came on together because of the speed of trust. And that's how they were able to build junior board members so fast, is because they trusted each other. Okay, so number one, start with people on your cell phone. There's an app that you can download on your phone called MC Backup. If you're on an iPhone, my client today say, oh, you got one of them Y phones. No, an iPhone, baby. And on Android, it's called Contacts to Excel. Download that app and it will download your contacts into an Excel spreadsheet. And then you go through it. Don't prejudge people, but you go through it. And then you take out your mama. You know your mama ain't getting in, right? Take out your mama. Take out, people that, But for the most part, call everybody on that list. If you don't know what to say to them, get with your growing up line and start the top 20 or 30. I bet you they'll call them for you with you on the phone. It is not their job to build their business.
What was the name of the app again? Someone asked.
MC Backup on the iPhone. And on Android, it's called Contacts to Excel.
MC Backup on the Y-phone, right?
Yeah, on the Wi-Fi.
All right. So just to tie, just because this other question is on here, and then we'll
okay, but hold on one second.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I finish that? Okay, so start there because number one, it's free. It's free. Now you can run ZipRecruiter ads, you can run Craigslist, but that stuff costs money. Indeed is free until they kick you off, right? But your speed of trust is going to be higher with people in your phone. So start there. Don't let I don't have the money to spend on ads stop you from recruiting. 90% of the dream team, unique writers, and I had over 160 people make money this year, 90% of them come off of a list of names. Legacy Life, I guarantee you, 90%, because I heard Nick Greco at family reunion in Miami. We don't run no ad. We talking people that we know. So that's what I would do. That's what I do.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. Even what's crazy is like I got my cousin, Julia, she's on the call too, started, and I had her, basically she's excited about the opportunity. And right off the bat, she starts naming people that she's thinking of bringing on board to sell with her. And that's the type of mentality that you want to have in here. Who do you want to get rich with? Who do you want to be your board members, in that table? Those are the people that you put on your list first. Okay. So One more question on here. The other one was a recruiting question, but you went through it. How can I get leads with little to no budget?
Okay. All right. Don't let not having money to buy leads stop you from buying leads. Wait a minute. That don't make no darn sense. If I ain't got no money, it's going to stop me from buying leads. The same way you call people to recruit them. I want you to have 20 warm market appointments before you even start thinking about buying leads. Call people like, hey, look, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I just started this little part-time gig, this little side hustle with this insurance company. Now, listen, they got plenty of leads for me to help them with. They got plenty of clients that they need me to help them with. But before they start letting me sit with their clients, they want me to practice on a couple of people that I know so that when I get in front of their clients, I don't look like Bobo the Clown. Do you mind being my guinea pig? Sit 20 appointments like that, and I guarantee you, you're going to walk away with sales. You're not doing it to make sales, you're doing it to sharpen your skill set. But because you're sharpening your skill set, God is going to bless you with sales. When you make those sales, this is where most people mess up at. See, they spend their commissions on things that is a one-for-one return. What do I mean by that? They pay their bills, they go out and eat. Listen, if you make $1,000 off of warm market sales, don't spend all that $1,000 on your bills, because when you pay that car payment, you get a one-for-one return. Next month, you got to pay that car payment again. Now, I ain't saying get your car repossessed, but hey, you're already late anyway. Listen, if you make $1,000, take 300 and invest in leads. Spend 700, and then that 300 will turn into $1,500 in commissions, and you keep doing that over and over again. Oh, I ain't got money for leads. Did you go to the AEP rollout? They gave you $200 in leads for just showing up to the AEP rollout. Who does that? So that's what I would do. Oh, and guess what? If all else fails, you know the same way the guy sitting outside the Walmart, hey, bro, you got any change? Hey, bro, you been thinking about life insurance? Hey, bro, you been thinking about life insurance? Hey, bro, you go to the, you go over there to the pharmacy section. That's the final expense leads. All them old people over there hanging out. All right. You go over there to the toy section and the bicycle section and the diaper section. Those are the mortgage protection leads. That's where them people gonna be at. Because they having babies, buying houses, and got children they trying to get toys for. There is no excuse. In this industry, your ambition is your currency, not your money. It's your ambition. How bad do you want it? One of my biggest sales, David, came from a guy that I met in Bojangles while I was buying a sausage biscuit. He saw my shirt. He said, what is the alliance? I was like, man, I help people with life insurance and retirement planning. He was like, man, you know what? I got a policy that I'm spending $300 a month for, and I just got a ladder that is going up to $450 a month. I said, you must have one of them terms that's increasing the premium. He was like, I think that's what it is. I booked an appointment with him, and I knew I was going to sell at least $300 because he already paying $300. Be a walking billboard wherever you go, letting everybody know how you can help them, what you can do for them, what you do for them.
Right. It's your business. You got to treat it like a business and have the mentality of it. You know what I mean? So last question here, and then I'll ask you one thing and then we'll wrap up. Same thing. It says, what if we want to do telesales? What leads can we use? The Alliance has a lead source, but what I would say, and I think Terry would agree, the best leads are the final expense, the mailer leads, for a new agent to learn a lot of this stuff. Like a lot of the learning that we did on the products, what company to write, was through running the leads, the final expense leads. But I'll have you chime in on that too, Terry.
All right. These are my opinions, and my opinions are telesales suck. Let me tell you why. I'm good. When I was in the field, I consistently paid $20,000 a month on my own personal opinion, period, every single month. When COVID hit, I thank God that I had a book of business, because if telesales was not my thing, I couldn't get it done. Can you imagine talking to a senior and them having enough trust in you on the first phone call to give you their social security number, their prescriptions, their checking account routing number. And if they did it, now they got to e-sign a document. Mm-mm. All right, listen. The other thing about telesales is not duplicatable. Even if I was good enough to do it, I can't show a novice, somebody who's just getting started, how to do it. The other thing is this right here. You got to buy twice as many leads. You're going to have twice as many. You're going to close fewer sales, and your chargebacks are going to be higher. Where is the, so case in point. So I had an agent call me this week and say, Terry, I talked to a guy that I interviewed, and he told me that he used to be on your team, but he's very interested in doing telesales. And I told him that you can do telesales with us because I'm training people how to do telesales. I went and looked at the leaderboard and I looked at her results. I was like, so what's your results? What's your contact ratio? What's your sit ratio? What's your close? She couldn't tell me none of that stuff. But I went to the leaderboard. I looked at her production. Oh, woo, not good. I got part-time people. Is she paying more business? And she's a full-time person. So I would say this. Once you use the leads to build up your book of business to about 1,000 to 1,500 clients, then you're going to have so many referrals. You can do a lot of referrals and stuff, telesales. You can do warm market telesales. But if you want to build a business where you got passive income coming in because people are out selling even when you're not, keep it simple. I can teach a caveman how to dial a final expense lead, how to book that appointment, how to get up over there. I asked her, how many unique writers do you have a month? And she was like, I think 1 or 2. And I'm saying to myself, I have 40 to 50. So I'll keep doing what I'm doing. See, a lot of people will tell you could do telesales. They'll tell you anything to get you on board, but they ain't got no results to back it up, baby. Do what works. It might, and doing telesales, you're not going to find annuity opportunities because you're not able to build enough rapport with people. You're not going to find IULs and you know what I'm saying? Everybody want to close a $1.9 million annuity like I did. You know what that came from, David? A 3A final expense lead, baby. So that's my story on on telesales. I know there are some people that are saying you can do it, but that's what I know. I've been in the game for 8 years. I done seen a lot.
Right, right. I mean, the money is out there. One of my biggest one of my biggest premiums that I've to date in the last 2 years was a gentleman who actually was deaf. It was a final expense lead that he filled out, kept calling him, didn't pick up. So I door knocked him, and he opened the door. Probably the easiest sell too. I popped up my laptop, blew up the notes. I typed basically all the stuff on to him, and 500. A couple, maybe like an hour later, came out with $500 a month premium, man. So they're out there, just like Terry's saying. He found that big annuity on there. So we got about 8 minutes. If you could just wrap this up, Terry. One of the big things that we're big on and we brought from WV, I know the Alliance is big on this, is the events. If you could just wrap it up with how the events have helped elevate your business.
Absolutely. So when you get people to the events is more so social proof. I remember when I was growing up, when I used to get home from school, I watched me a little cartoons, and then Dr. Phil will come on and Oprah Winfrey will come on. I used to watch Oprah. I used to like watching Oprah. But Oprah used to have these, what she said, aha moments, right? I thought about this. When I started going to events, I started seeing people go across the stage making 300,000, 400,000. And then Andy started interviewing them on stage. And it's just like, they couldn't even really put together a complete thought. And I, instead of having aha moments, I started having hell no. So I'm like, hell no. If that joker can do it, I can do it too. Wait a minute, that one right there. You mean to tell me that the one who looks like a box of crayons. Ain't nothing matching. Him? Oh, hell no. Me too. So no, when you come to the events, I promise you, you're going to have some hell no moments. It's going to, it's social proof. So when you are by yourself and you're dialing by yourself, the enemy can wear your tail out because you're getting rejections. People ain't joining your team, blah, 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 blah. But when you come to a big event, you get more social proof and belief that, wait a minute, maybe I need to make some adjustments to what I'm doing. The association, you get to walk up. See, y'all don't take for granted that y'all got a Nick Greco, David, all these major leaders on your team. But you also can pull me to the side or other leaders that's killing the game. I tell you one way you can get me. Offer me something to eat. Something to eat. Like, hey man, meet me down in the lobby for a donut. And I tell you like it is, over a donut. The association, you get to walk up to the people that you revere, the people that you respect, the people that you look up to. You can walk up to these people and ask them questions. See, I remember in World Ventures, the top leaders, I was on the Twins team carrying them. I was on their team. And I walked up to them and tried to meet them, and they didn't give me the time of day. You can walk up to, the thing I like about us, we making money, but we just humble. We're humble people that's making a whole bunch of money. Now, of course, you're going to run into a couple of special ones, right? But for the most part, the successful people are going to tell you what they do to get it. So the events are very critical. And then it's your job that after they leave the event to make sure that you got processes in place to help them implement what they learn from the events day to day and give them the support to sustain them until the next event. So that's how we use the events as a way to also, we've always tie like a contest into the event. So like this event, we rented a 65-foot yacht and we had some winners riding around on the yacht on that Thursday to help. See, it's not the alliance's job to create culture by themselves. You should add to the culture within your local assembly, if that makes sense, or your local team. So that's how we use the events.
Awesome, Terry. Thank you so much for hopping on, man. We're just about done with time, man. I mean, just in the time that you've talked, bro, look at my notes. I myself am over here hosting, but I'm over here taking notes myself because I want to implement, like Terry's saying, the stuff that the leaders that are having success, and I want to implement that into my business. Terry's one of them. We love having Terry on our calls, and we appreciate you, brother. Anything that I could ever do, if you ever need help, I speak Spanish. If you got a Spanish client, man, I got you, bro.
Let's go.
Hablo español. All right, guys. Well, Terry, you can always follow him on social media. And like he said, if you ever see him at the events, guys, feel free to talk to him, offer him some food. There's been times where, I've pulled him to the side, had some conversations, and I'm telling you, Terry's one of the humble ones. He's one of the good ones. We've got a really great person within Terry in our company, and there's plenty of more of Terry within the alliance. So last thing before we wrap up Legacy Life is we actually have an event. And it's an event that we actually are doing in-house, our group specifically. It's going to be September 1st through the 3rd. I know some of you guys that are on the chat have seen this, but it's getting close to it where we need to get as many people as we can there because we've got, number one, Marcus Richardson, one of the top producers in the Alliance. He lives out here in Colorado, but he's going to be there. The event's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia at the Stone Mountain Marriott. It's like a big resort. I know it's Labor Day weekend, guys, but the training is going to be Saturday from, I believe, 9 to 3. And we're going to make it a weekend event. I'm going to be there. The leaders are going to be there. Mark Hutchison. If you want to know about sales in the home, you need to be at this event. Mark Hutchison is one of the best in-home people. Marcus Richardson is one of the best teachers on dialing. And then obviously we got Nick Greco and Mike Guerra. Those guys, you know, they flew past a lot of these ranks within the company with just a matter of a year or two. So those guys are going to be there. We're going to post the link on the team chat. Get to Atlanta, Georgia, September 1st through the 3rd. Terry, thank you so much, my man. I appreciate you. God bless. Say what's up to Tia and the whole Dream Team squad.
Will do, bro. I'm getting ready to go to the house now and see if I can play footsie. Let's see what happens.
All right, my man.
All right, love you guys.
All right, love you, big dog. Later.